the discussion on development, we have various theories and models, but we need to look at our own experience within our country to see what we can learn from what's happening in the country or different parts of the country. So this is an example where we are saying, when we look at the southern region of India, the 4 states, the way they have progressed seems to be different from the path and the speed at which the northern states have moved.
Look at where this book takes us. And I think where this book takes us is to try and begin to understand why India is what it is today. Why there is this huge north-south divide that Paul and Sridhar have discussed so comprehensively with very good data in their books. And unless we are able to tackle this, we are not going to be able to move forward.
Notions of progress are very personal, and very often, I mean, this spawns very jejune arguments on the internet about why some states are advanced and why some aren't. We continue to hear news of how some states are better governed and some aren't. When do we finally get down to quantifying these factors? When do we come down to brass tacks? And how can these brass tacks be inputs, useful inputs for those in governance? That was the objective of organizing this material. Dr. Paul and Dr. Kala Sridhar worked very hard to organize material over 4 years to try and identify some of the governance factors that made Tamil Nadu stand out from UP over the course of 3 decades of growth and development.
What this book is doing is to show, demonstrate what we've all experienced in our life, in our work, which is the enormous distance between the north of India and the south of India. The north seems relatively to a South Indian an uncivilized badland part of the world, while the south seems to be progressing rapidly, progressing in every way, progressing in incomes, life expectancy, in jobs, you name it, and the south is getting better, and particularly Tamil Nadu. What Paul and Kala have done is to look at Tamil Nadu as an example of a southern state, Uttar Pradesh as an example of a northern state. Of course, Tamil Nadu is not a typical South Indian state. It is much better than most others, but it is reasonably representative, while Uttar Pradesh is very representative of the north. You remember years ago, Ashish Bose, the demographer, developed a concept called Bimaru, the Bimaru states, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh. Bimaru, as you know in Hindi, is sick, and these are still the 6 states of India. They are sick in every way.
Way back 60 years ago, somebody called India a functioning anarchy. I think very soon the word functioning may have to be deleted from that appellation.
When we have resources, funds, money, labor or various things that we have, it is not enough through taxation and other means to generate those resources, but we need to have far greater efficiency in the way we use these resources, get more out of the money or the labor skills that we have.
For example, when we look at installed capacity in electricity for power generation, when you look at a graph for TN and UP, for example, you will find that the installed generating capacity per million population steadily declined in the 1980s and 90s, and when you look at the same graph for TN, it steadily kept increasing upwards, 1980s, 90s and the decade of the 2000s.
Now they say development is the result of social reforms influencing economic change, economic development. It is not economic reforms changing social benefits. This is the debate between Jagdish Bhagwati and Amartya Sen. That in the context of this debate, they say which are the factors which have influenced this process. This book, apart from this topic it touches, North-South divide, gets into certain microeconomic social factors which cumulatively influence the process. Both quantitative and qualitative. And this study shows how India is missing out on the potential. And this is the contribution, the difference in this exercise. It's a beautiful book.